We're reacting to some Christmas videos today on the Church Revitalization Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Church Revitalization Podcast, brought to you by the Malphurs Group team, where each week we tackle important, actionable topics to help churches thrive. And now, here's your hosts, Scott Ball and A.J. Mathieu.
Welcome to the Church Revitalization Podcast. My name is Scott Ball. I'm joined by my friend, co-host, and fellow church consultant, A.J. Mathieu.
Merry Christmas.
Speaking of Christmas, today I have curated. A.J. has no idea. He has no idea what he is about to see. We don't have a producer. Like, there's no third person that could have selected these videos for us to react to. A.J.'s reaction is going to be totally
spontaneous.
Yeah. So I have selected videos from Instagram, and they're all in the Christmas genre. Some of them lighthearted, some of them funny, some of them more serious, some of them might evoke a reaction of some kind. So I'm going to show them, and then we'll react to them. And we'd love to know your reactions as well. So you can put those in the comments. This might be a better episode on YouTube than on the audio. But we'll try to explain for the audio audience as we go along.
So
as well.
Like, comment, share down there on YouTube. Hey, subscribe to the channel. Our channel has really been growing a lot. We're super excited about that. Thanks for participating in that way. And also want to slip this in, Scott, that the episode is brought to you by the Healthy Churches Toolkit.
Sponsored by ourselves.
Available at healthychurchestoolkit.com. Go sign up for a 7-day free trial today. Have tons of resources for your church. And the new version is in beta. So when you are a subscriber, you'll have the opportunity to also check out the beta site.
Yep.
That is amazing. And we'll be going live first quarter next year, after the first of the year. You'll be all set for that. So do that today.
Yep.
All right. On with the show.
On with the show. All right. Let me get us queued up here for our first one.
I'm not faking it this year. I faked it for 6 years. I'm not faking it no more. If anybody brings me fruitcake for Christmas this year, I just want to go on record and say, do not bring me that. I will throw it right back at you. I'll throw it in a trash can. God is not in fruitcake, so don't even try to do that. I've faked it for 6 years. I ain't faking it no more. Amen. I hate that mess.
Is that the whole clip?
No.
This morning, praise God. Good. Okay. I see. Woo, help me, Jesus. I'm going to get voted out tomorrow. Amen. I'm not faking it this year.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So
he had a little bit of a rough morning before that, I think.
You think, okay. Well, here's what I'm thinking. Here's the question I have for you. One, you can give your opinion about fruitcake if you'd like, but I'm less interested in that. I'm more interested in it's clearly lighthearted, but can the pastor call out the people like that and be like, don't give me fruitcake?
He was walking a line there because yes, you can. And he was getting laughs out of it because most people in the room that day don't give him a fruitcake.
Right. He called out a lady at the end there. Bernice.
One or more do.
Yeah.
And so now if she gives him the fruitcake and she's like, this is a gag gift because I know him and he hates fruitcake, it's totally fine. Then he's totally in the clear.
Right.
If the fruitcake giver likes fruitcake and gives it as a gift, this was a bad move.
Because he just called her out in front of the whole church, been like,
and admitted to an integrity issue along the way as well.
Yeah. I've been smiling. I've been faking it.
I lie quite a bit in this area, but I'm stopping that today. I promise.
I think he gets a pass. I think
it was fun. He might have had to, side hug one or two people there after the service. So so that was a fun one. That was good.
Okay. All right. Okay. You ready?
All right. Let's go.
The Christmas hymn, God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
Yes.
There's a comma in that, and most people think it's God Rest Ye, comma, Merry Gentlemen, but it's actually after the Mary that it belongs. God Rest Ye Merry. So the idea of resting merry means resting with contentment, with joy in our heart. It means resting in something that is settled. We're to rest merry in Christ. The Christmas.
Okay. I thought the comma was after rest. God rest, comma, ye merry gentlemen.
Yeah.
Which then, even though now I'm trying to think of what would that even mean?
Right after God, rest ye merry gentlemen. Depending on where you put the comma, that could have a lot of different meanings.
Okay, I've never thought about this carol before. And
what are you talking? Okay, there's a whole reason I picked this is a few weeks ago on the podcast.
Yeah,
if people have gone back and listened to this, we did a whole drafting your song, your Christmas songs, and this was one of the songs you picked.
I like the song, but
that's why I picked this, because I was like, oh, we can talk about this song that is in his top 5 Christmas songs.
Well, maybe it wasn't explained in that episode. I'm rather shallow when it comes to music. And I almost don't even care about lyrics sometimes.
I don't know. I'm too lazy to put the clip in, but
yeah,
I would like to comment here. Okay. That you said, and I quote, I went back and checked the lyrics.
Yes. To simply make sure, well, for that episode, to make sure it was actually somewhat Christmas related and that it wasn't like some bad theology that I care about. But as far as...
I would have thought that you would have maybe noticed where the comma was when you checked.
No, I have no idea where the comma is. I'm just singing. I'm just singing along. If I like the melody, then AJ's happy most of the time. So, okay, man, I don't know what to do with that. God rest ye merry gentlemen. I thought the gentlemen were merry. I think
I think they're being told to be merry.
Yes, I think humanity is being told to be merry. You should be merry. I think it's saying you should be merry because of this Jesus. Yeah.
I didn't. There was no other point. I figured there's not much to say on that. I think the clip is an interesting one. It's a good reminder to pay attention to the, syntax, I guess, of our Christmas songs. I didn't really have anything. It jumped out to me because that was one of your top 5 Christmas songs, and I didn't know if you had a profound thought.
No,
and the answer is no profound thought.
Shallow thought. Very shallow thought.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Gird your loins for this next one. That's all I gotta say. Okay. Are you ready for this?
Okay. All right.
Christmas is literally rooted in false God worship. Jeremiah chapter 10 says, "Thus says the Lord." That means God talking. "Do not learn the way of the heathen, for the customs of the people are futile. One cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with an axe. They fasten it with hammer and nail so that it stands upright. They decorate it with silver and gold." And God said, don't be like them. Matter of fact, he called them that do this practice a heathen. But what do? You drag the exact thing that God called pagan into your living room. You decorate it. Your whole family gather around you. They got the nerve to slap the label Christian on it like it got something to do with God. Now, can we just stop to use common sense real quick? On whose birthday does everyone else get a gift? Just imagine it's your birthday and everybody else opening gifts except you. That sounds stupid, don't it? Because it is. And some of y'all so lost, you'll say, it don't matter when he was born. We're still going to celebrate his birth. And the Jesus that you say you follow, he said, believe on him as the scriptures have said. Because Christ, they never tell you to remember his birthday, but he did command you to remember his death. That's actually written. Now understand something real good. Me and you, we don't serve the same God, bro. Me and you don't share the same spirit of faith. Your faith, God, is accepted by the culture, and my faith is rejected by the culture because it's actually biblical. Your culture is my God because my God did.
Wow, that's intense.
Sir, did you want that in a tall or a grande? What is going on here? He was like you do not want to be at a Christmas party with him.
No,
that's for sure.
No. Is a vibe killer for sure.
So, okay.
Hold on. I just gotta point out a couple of things.
Okay. Yes.
Before we get to the merits of what he's saying, if you were only listening on the audio version, you caught everything you needed to catch. But if you're watching on YouTube, you will notice there were a lot of AI clips used as like B-roll in this
transition-y, flashy things. Yeah.
And I'm just think it's interesting that like I think that a person who would be against Christmas trees, I would think the Venn diagram of overlap of like AI is the devil. I would think that would overlap. Like there'd be 100% overlap.
Oh,
but apparently not.
Oh,
like we're okay with using AI.
Oh, I see.
The demon in the machine to generate B-roll for our viral clip.
Yeah,
but Christmas trees are.
Whew, that's a strong stance. That's a very strong stance. Man, yeah. I don't have Jeremiah 10 open to see the context of that, but I do know this: Jeremiah was not one of Christ's apostles in the New Testament, and so I just don't know how much we're going to need to apply that in our modern celebration space of the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Where are you at with this?
I just thought it was really intense.
It's very intense.
I like how my favorite part of it is where he's like, it's actually biblical. When there's like
his point, his view is biblical. Yeah. We should do that. Some of those effects might be fun on our show. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So, yeah, to be fair, we don't have 34,000 likes on anything we've put out. So, but that actually, that's the question. Is it for the clicks? Is this an actual perspective he has? Or is it to be contrarian?
Yeah.
So
maybe he's playing the algorithm, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Is that what we're doing today? This is just for the clicks, I think.
No, I don't think so. This is just for fun. We have no expectation that anyone else will care about this. I wanted to do this episode. I don't know. I guess I'm most sympathetic to the idea that there is too much commercialization of Christmas, that we can become too obsessed with all the Christmas accoutrement. And
I agree with that.
That we missed the reason for the season, so to speak. But,
seems like this was a reason for the season video gone really far.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on the Christmas tree theme.
Okay.
I thought I'd just lay on another perspective. Okay, you ready?
All right.
Of the world in his rightful place. Let's put Christ back in Christmas. Let the gifts be reminders of what he gave. And the lights that we see remind you and me of the light of the world we hung on a tree of the world.
Okay. That's a different take.
It's like the complete opposite take of the last video we just saw. Now,
style choice
for those who are only listening, we just watched Forrest Frank, which I just have to say I like Forrest Frank. So no hate on Forrest Frank. I'm all in on the Forrest Frank. But he has a video of him at his house with his kid. Actually, I wasn't paying attention if there was more than one kid in that video. But he has a cross-shaped Christmas tree. Looks pretty lit. I think he's bought that thing somewhere. It looked pretty lit.
That did not look homemade. Yeah.
No. And
someone's producing those.
For no ornaments except.
Did it not have ornaments? Had lights on it.
It had lights.
I thought I saw some decorations.
No, what you saw was nails.
I saw they had 3 nails. They had the crown of
thorns
on top of it.
And the crown of thorns on the cross-shaped Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So I would love your thoughts on cross-shaped Christmas tree.
Not running to Walmart to pick one up. I can say that. So, not to say that, I mean, I guess for some people that would be a very visual reminder for him. It started off saying, the season and the reason.
The reason. So,
yeah. Sure. The heart behind it is totally fine. Style choice.
I'd rather be on the Forrest Frank side of this than the last video.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah, so, I wonder how that guy would feel about it.
Yeah, right.
A cross-shaped decoration.
Yeah, which was wood, which was a tree. The cross.
But this one, ironically, plastic.
Yes,
so
that's true. It was plastic. Yeah, boy. This would be a mind bender for the previous guy.
Yeah. Category busting.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty interesting. We do have we've got a nail, we purchased the Christmas nail, and it is the first ornament, quote unquote ornament we hang on our tree.
Yeah, you're more holy than me. I don't have a Christmas. I don't have a Christmas nail.
And it's, it's supposed to, the box tells you about it, hang the nail where others, it's not, you don't see the nail. It's hung interior of the tree at the trunk. And once the tree is decorated, nobody even knows the nail's there. But you and your family, the nail was there, and it was the first thing you put on the tree.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Why are we hide it under a bushel, like literally? Aren't you supposed to let it shine? Like what's
the other side of the coin of that statement? Yeah, is that not to make show of it. But so probably can't read too much.
Actually, I think we could have a whole video discussing that. I think I'd have the whole.
I didn't make up the whole idea of it, but I thought it was okay.
I feel like they should not tell you what to do with it. I think they should tell you either put it somewhere prominent so it starts conversations with your non-believing friends and neighbors who might come to your house, or if it's just for you and your family, maybe you hide it a little bit so that it's a meaningful act.
Yeah. I guess the meaning in the act is in that initial, in hanging the nail prior to any other decorations. It's just, let's make sure we're centered before we start doing something that could visually be commercialized or not.
I guess so, but I mean, like imagine you've got an unbelieving friend or neighbor or family member who comes in who sees it hanging and is like, hey, where'd you get this? Or why do you have that?
Sure.
And you'll be like, that's something our family hangs up to remind ourselves of why this Christmas season is so important. Like that.
Yeah.
How would that not be better than hiding?
I guess you could take that to the extreme and have nail-shaped lights and a bunch of plastic nails. Like we did an all-nail tree this year. That was our theme.
Okay.
But,
well, aren't all lights kind of nail shaped?
So you could go there.
The mini lights aren't they, like how else would you make a nail shaped other than the shape they're already in? Yeah, I'm not with you on that. Okay.
You're not with me on that. You're like, I'd rather not have a nail at all than have a hidden one.
Yeah, well, that's actually been. I guess that's officially my stance because I don't have one. All right, let's move on. All right, here we go. Next one. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
What is a sermon series idea for Christmas that will help us reach new people?
Take a movie and kind of tie that to what Scripture teaches about Christmas. And if you can play some of the scenes of the movies, you'll get people engaged with laughter and funny scenes and those types of things relevant for new visitors because commonly known movies, that's going to relate to them.
What is this?
Okay. This was just my opening to get your take on the Christmas at the movies genre of sermon series. Now, full disclosure, I did, just in case anybody I know is listening to this podcast, I did once serve on staff at a church where 1 year we did a Christmas at the movies series. I just feel like, full disclosure, I have to admit that before I give my opinion on it. But first, you.
And did you since repent of that decision to participate in that, or not?
Yeah, 100%.
This is
total 180. Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. I mean, I have a recollection of being at church, I think, for at least one at the movies sermon or sermon series, but this has just popped up recently. I have gotten a ton of this, and it sounds like I think people have crossed over to now making fun of it, and it's becoming cliche. to do at the movies at church. Yeah. I just texted you the other day because I saw another reel.
I had already selected this. And so that's why I didn't say anything to your text, because I was like, I don't want to get his thoughts on this right now. I want to get it on the podcast.
I think it's overplayed. I think it's done. Yeah.
So you're not against it in principle. It's just that it's too much.
I'm not against relevance in preaching.
Okay.
And years ago I would have been like, yeah, come on, give me a clip. Let me laugh at this clip. And then I don't know what I was going to do with it after that, but I guess I'm moving. I'm a little bit over that. I don't know.
Here's something I think is interesting. I actually had this thought the other day. There was a time in the 90s and in the early 2000s where weaving in a movie clip was like, you got to do that, not all the time, but like once every 6 weeks, you got to be working in a movie clip. But I think that live streaming has killed that.
Yeah, just from copyright issues.
Yeah, copyright issues. So pastors aren't weaving it in because they're going to get the video taken down.
Yeah, it could have been the opener as well. Had those, like you finish.
The
song's done. We've prayed. Where you say amen. The room's a little darker. On comes the screens. We get 20, 30-second movie clip before pastor walks out. We got a little chuckle out of that, and he's ready to drive the point now. So
that's what we in the biz call the sermon bumper. So you're laughing. That's what it's called. It's called the sermon bumper.
Yeah.
So
which is still very common and is a fine tool to introduce what we're talking about. But the movie clip as a bumper, that's at a different level.
Yeah. So
I'm okay with that being done.
You want it out.
I don't think
I'm generally against it. Again, as a former participant in it, I can tell you it's not who we were. Like, we were preached through books. Like, that's what we did. And we did this at the movies thing as like a break from, we had just finished a book, or we were taking a break from a book, and then we were going to pick it back up at the beginning of the year, something like that. And so we were seeing it as like, okay, this is a departure from normal. It's a way to just kind of mix things up a little bit, like we do. Like today's episode on the podcast is different from what we generally do. Sometimes it's nice just to do something different.
Yeah, this is our version of it. I mean, we're doing at the reels, at the video clips.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
At the internet.
Yeah. So that was the motivation, I think, a lot of it. But in reality, it was a lot of work. Like, it was a different kind of planning than we were normally doing, and you did want to make sure you were doing something substantive, and that's a lot harder when you're trying to base it off of like a particular film. So, anyways, all that to say, I would be okay with never seeing one of those again, personally.
Yep. All right.
That's no hate. If any of you listening, you're doing at the movies, there's only a little bit of judgment. I don't want to say no judgment because that would probably be a lie. But
go to the fruitcake guy. All right, we've done at the movies 6 years. I pretended like I liked it. No more.
Yeah. Never again. Please just stop. Okay. Now this one, I've got to prep this for those who are listening. The reason I'm pulling this clip is because this particular clip isn't just a clip of this particular Christmas production, but also there are captions on top of it
that are important for the fun,
for the discussion, for the dialogue. Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the reel, and then I'll go back and kind of read after we've done that. I'll read back what the captions say.
Okay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you waited for. It's searching.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. I have so many thoughts. So you're going to try to read back all that stuff? You can probably
summarize basically. So while the thing is playing, it says, so again, this one is better to watch on YouTube. It's Prestonwood Baptist in Texas, in the Metroplex. Their Christmas production, which is every year like crazy, over the top. Santa's hanging from the ceiling, floating elves. It's live camels in the sanctuary. Like it's some. It costs, I'm sure, hundreds of thousands of dollars to run this thing, or tens of thousands of dollars at least. And they charge for tickets, I think. And I've Prestonwood has responded to these things and said, like, look, the ticket sales only go to cover the direct cost. It's an outreach, they say. We get thousands of people come and hear the gospel. That's the deal. Now, over top of this screen, the person who has posted this video says, according to the latest figures, nearly 26,000 people in Texas are homeless. In Fort Worth's Tarrant County community, there's a bunch of poverty in Tarrant County, which I don't think Prestonwood's in Tarrant County. I think they're in Collin County.
Dallas, I
think they're in Collin County. So, I mean, fact check that. In an area experiencing this much poverty, the church should be giving resources instead of taking them. Think about what this money could have done for the community, and then it ends with tax the church. That's the call to action.
Okay,
tax the church.
Okay, all right. You ready to get into this one?
Yes, I am. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I am of two minds on this.
Oh, great! Don't have an opinion.
I have an opinion, but I also, I guess, maybe I push back on some things. And my wife and I actually just talked about this morning because these clips are just going crazy, as they do every year. This is not new. So, and I just checked, tickets run about $21 up to $60, low 60s.
Okay.
Or you can get the premium package for $70.
What's that?
That is premium reserved seating and parking. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Is that in your price range?
No, I wouldn't pay for that. I wouldn't buy that.
Think so. No, I know that. Are the $20 tickets standing room only? And
yeah, maybe so. I would consider. Now, I wouldn't go to this, but I would consider at the $20 range. I would consider.
Okay.
That.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think you get into $60 and $70 per person, and I think that's unaffordable for your average family.
Uh-huh.
And so that to me is offensive for a church to do something that it wouldn't be a pretty easy swing for a family.
Yeah.
So I have that against it.
Okay.
This I have against you. Yeah, so I don't love that. So now hold on, let me defend a little bit, because these clips I think sometimes are deceptive. And I think a lot of the people that are putting stuff out want to make it look like this is like an average Sunday there, or this is their typical December Sunday worship service.
Yeah, I don't think that's... Do you think that they're trying to portray that way? I don't think so.
I think some of the clips are like, here's church. And you're like, well, no, it's not. It's at a church. This is not a worship service that they're doing that is like this ridiculous. So I think they should be defended slightly for that. This is a separate production that they're putting on. But it's so extravagant. And to me, the ticket prices are expensive. I think it excludes a lot of people. And I think it's more of just a fun show for those that can afford it to go to.
Yeah.
So this one clip that you showed, Scott, where they were like, look at what could have been done with this money. I
want your reaction to that too.
I think I don't totally discount that either. And I think that's
I think it's valuable because that's the world's response to this.
Exactly.
So like the stated here are my problems with this. Okay. I don't, in principle, have a problem with a Christmas production outreach. Like, in principle, I have no problem with this. But in reality, two things are happening. And the one point you've already made with the ticket prices is that now it's not an outreach. If it's an outreach, raise the money for the cost of the production and make it
That's
free.
where I'm at. Make it free. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can still have tickets for the purposes of just crowd control and being like, all right, we know it's going to be really popular. There's only so many seats. So you still do tickets, but the tickets should be free and charge the people inside the church. So if you're a person you're a member you're telling me Prestonwood doesn't have or couldn't have some member portal where you have to log in. And if you're a member and you buy and you get tickets, you get charged. But if you're a community member, and there's only a certain number, like there are a certain number of members tickets, and then the rest are community tickets. The community tickets are free. The member tickets cost money, and make those cost whatever you want. In my opinion, I'm just saying, like, if you need to charge something to help offset it, either fundraise it or only charge your members. Make sure there's enough tickets that are designated for the community and make those free. Because if it's an outreach, it shouldn't cost money.
That's what I think. Yeah.
So that'd be number one. Number two, it's supposedly an outreach, but if the community's view on it is, what a huge waste of money. If it's hurting your witness, if the only people who are actually going are already Christians and they're paying $40, $20, $40, $60 a ticket to have Christians come and be entertained, and then everybody who is in the community just looks at it and sees it as a waste of money, it's damaging your witness.
Yeah.
And it's an anti-outreach. It's not an outreach anymore.
My opinion as someone that lives here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area my opinion is that's more where they're at. I think otherwise you don't see a lot of people going, this was the most amazing outreach ever. You know?
I would love to know if there's data on that. Like, I'm not saying that they have to give it to me, but, how many people per year come to faith through this event?
There seems to be more press ridiculing it than supporting it.
Which I don't care. Whatever. Like, press is always going to very often will ridicule Christians.
But
I'm not
press,
going to.
Social media, even,
that. Like, I'm not necessarily. I'm not necessarily going to not do something just because someone in the world says this is a bad thing. Because, yeah, I think you're right. I think sometimes they'll mischaracterize something. I see videos all the time on Instagram that will be like, oh, pastors make X, and they'll talk about church planting, and they'll communicate about it in a way almost like it's like a shell game of funneling money. I'm like, you've never met a church planter. These people are poor and they're struggling for cash. Like there's not some lucrative church planting shell game happening. So it's totally a misrepresentation. So I'm not saying that. I'm just going, I need some other proof as a believer that this is actually an outreach. And the fact that you're charging for money and it's ostentatious and it kind of puts a bad vibe out among unbelievers. I'm not seeing enough positive fruit for it to justify what it is.
Yeah. I think that's my basic conclusion as well. Yeah.
Okay. Glad we aligned on this. All right. We'll do one last one.
Oh, boy.
Okay. All right. I just want to say before I play this clip, I thought I was going to like this more. Like, I thought based on this screenshot, I couldn't wait for it.
You were jazzed. Yeah, for sure.
I was jazzed. But it's actually not about what you think it is. I'll just let it play.
I feel like people get this wrong. Not just the Muppet version of A Christmas Carol, but all of the adaptations. And no, I'm not going to say that I agree with Scrooge that Christmas is terrible and we should let poor people starve. I'm saying that people tend to interpret the story in a way that lets themselves off the hook. If you round up 100 people and ask them, what's the moral of A Christmas Carol? roughly 100% of them will say it's about greed and generosity of spirit. And of course, that's true, but I think the sin that Ebenezer Scrooge commits is bigger than greed. Because if you make it just about financial greed, then we can watch the story and we don't see ourselves as Scrooge, we see ourselves as Cratchit. So the moral of the story winds up being, yeah, rich people should give me more of their money. But there is a reason why the best film adaptations of this story make such a big deal out of the coal, where Ebenezer Scrooge refuses to let him add more coal to the fireplace, because it makes clear that Scrooge is in the same cold office as his employees. The money that Scrooge is so tightly clinging to, the money that could be paid out in additional wages to his employees, he is not spending it. He does not have a yacht or a Lamborghini. He spends all of his time carefully counting every penny. His books are impeccable. The whole reason he hates Christmas is that it makes people spend money that they don't have. That's something that he doesn't do. He believes in his heart that all of the impoverished people he passes on the street, if they were as meticulous about their bookkeeping as he is, that they would not be poor. In other words, it is their own fault. He lives in squalor, and when he was berating Cratchit about taking the holiday off, he was not asking Cratchit to work while he stays at home. He would also have been at work. The way Scrooge spreads misery is by ruthlessly demanding that everyone live according to his strict moral code. So while lots of people in the audience could look at him and say, well, that's not me, I'm not a wealthy moneylender, they are still doing that other part. They still have that hardness of heart toward people who cannot adhere to the rules the way that they do. And I've always felt like that was the real message of the story. It's what makes it timeless, because it just makes it clear that, yes, there are people who do evil by breaking society's rules, but there are others who are evil because of how ruthlessly they adhere to them.
That was a long, drawn-out talk about something that probably doesn't need that much scrutiny. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. That was the reaction I was expecting from you.
Too long. You should know. Don't you give AJ anything long. He's gonna be bored halfway through and then start to just.
I thought you were engaged. Yeah, I thought you were engaged. Okay.
So,
I love Muppet Christmas Carol.
I know you do.
So good. I mean, that's like pure millennial core movie, though.
Is it?
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you can speak for your generation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is an overtake.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
There's nothing wrong with it. I think he discounted the surface moral of greed, because I think, the other side of I'm holding on to too much is, am I giving enough? And I think most people can relate to, am I giving enough? And to me, the surface level moral from the story has more power than he's giving it credit for, and he's trying to really go deep with it.
I think he might be onto something, though, because this is something that jumps out to you, even in a Muppet Christmas Carol version, because you see him, he has very few things that's a nice thing. Like he makes a big deal about it. Like, it's his best dressing robe, but like, what's he eating for dinner on Christmas Eve? He's eating, a piece of bread and a piece of cheese. Like, that's it. That's his dinner. He's alone. Like, when I think of a greedy person, I think is after selfish gain. Like, I want all of this stuff for myself, and I'm not going to give anything. I'm not going to share with anybody else. But he isn't even sharing with himself. Like, I don't even know if that's a different take even than what he is saying. Like, how much does he have to hate himself that he would treat himself this way? He doesn't love himself. He doesn't love his nephew. There's no love. And the reversal on that isn't generosity. I think that's the focus, that the generosity comes from a heart of love. That he makes amends with himself and then begins to make amends with his neighbors. And that's where his generosity comes from. I don't know.
Okay.
I did like this because I was like, I do think it's a really compelling story. Muppet Christmas Carol jokes aside, I think A Christmas Carol is a really compelling story and one that I enjoy watching every year.
Good.
I was hoping for more of a conversation from you on that, and I'm a little disappointed. I'm just going to be honest. I thought that this would be a great way to end. We'll have this thoughtful conversation. Instead, it was just a thoughtful monologue from me.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I got the Gen X don't overthink it attitude about most things. So it's just come on, it's a movie, one I don't even care about.
Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, what do you think about Christmas Carol, or email us leadership@malfirsgroup.com. Hope you enjoyed today's fun episode. Longer than I thought it was going to be, but fun reaction to various Christmas themed internet videos.
It was a good idea, Scott. It was a good idea.
We'll see how good of an idea it was.
Merry Christmas, everybody. We'll see you next year.